Loneliness, silence, anxiety. Too many men are carrying it alone. I'm Jack Starr, powerlifter, personal trainer, aerialist, and ex private investigator, and this is The Other Side of Tough. We're rewriting manhood one conversation at a time, and today I have a returning guest, Norris Johnson, the Pope, the Unk, back on the show again. And this is our 20th episode. So I've made it 20 episodes. And like I said, originally you were the inspiration for me to start my podcast and, start doing this because you invited me on several episodes of your podcast. And I enjoyed it so much, and I enjoyed these conversations we had. And, I wanted to have a podcast really focused on men's issues. But today we're talking about you and your new program, the 90-day program that you've got going on right now, and your ebook, which is amazing. And you've lost so much weight and made such a transformation. So, yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Tell us about how you went from this, big power lifter, and now look at you all lean and trimmed up, looking like $1,000,000, my friend.
Well, first and foremost, Jack, I've been watching your podcast step by step, and you know some interesting people of all shapes, all sizes, and all walks of life. And it's very interesting. So when you move on to us old Murray dudes to get our point of view about relationships, I'll be glad to come back on. Uh, the 90 days started approximately maybe 12 years ago. I was wanted to be a PG police officer at that time, and I was approximately 250 pounds.
Mm,
And it wasn't muscle, it was just being lazy, sitting around, doing nothing with my life.
yeah.
And I developed a crazy program in my mind of something to save myself. And
Okay.
I did it that first time, and I did all 90, and I had back in the day pictures when I was looking like a Greek god, chopped up,
Mm,
and somehow along the way of just still sitting around or living our daily life. And we're power lifters, so we tell ourselves little mini lies. You're still going to the gym. You can get away with this cheat meal, or you can get away with several cheat meals in a week. And they're all just little mini lies that we compromise ourselves with.
that's true.
So I went to my annual doctor's appointment, which I would love to have a conversation about in the future, to see how many men actually go get an annual checkup,
Yeah.
which I encourage all men to do because you never know what may be lying in your body through the blood. Your body could look great. As you said, I was a power lifter lifting big boy weights, looked awesome. And still something underneath, something secret was in my blood, and that was high cholesterol,
Mm,
high blood pressure. And if you keep on doing those things, you're going to go one place, and that's not a good place to go. So
yeah.
I lean back to what I knew. The only way I know personally how to save myself was this 90-day program. And a few of my coworkers did it with me, and I'm proud to do it. And I had to write down that journey.
Yeah. And I know, man, like I was watching you step by step as you were going through that. And there were some days you were like, brother, I am so miserable right now. But, you kept trekking through it and you stayed dedicated to it. And I mean, I think that's what happened with my transformation too, is that there just has to be reaching a time where it's like, it's now or never. Like, this is like a life or death situation here, especially when we get to our age. Like, I don't know about you, but I've seen, people I knew in high school and stuff die because of, heart problems or, health issues, and things that would have been preventable if they ate better, if they exercised. You don't know how much, good nutrition and diet really prevents a lot of these things that are killing a lot of men our age. Um, so
100%
yeah.
facts. 100%
Mm,
facts. Matter of fact, I haven't seen anybody I personally know, but I'm a member of the hip hop community, and several people in the hip hop community seem to be going early in life because of their bad decision making. And I see it throughout even our own fitness community with bad decision making. And we had to spark that change. And you have to ask yourself on those days when you do want to quit, just give me one more day.
Hmm. Hmm. And so, like, tell me why 90 days? Is it,
Uh,
do
I
you
like
feel
to
like,
suffer, Jack. I like to suffer, and I was just like, at that time, I was like, what's the hardest thing I can do? What's
hmm,
the hardest thing I can do where you can really put forth some time? 90 days is 3 months. You got
yeah,
to put, and anything if you want in this life, you have to put time in. So I was
right,
like, all right, I'm going to do 90 days. And I was like, what do I truly enjoy? And I was like, all right, I enjoy sugar. I'm going to sacrifice that. I'm going to sacrifice alcohol. I'm going to sacrifice high fructose corn syrup. I'm going to sacrifice processed foods. Because of my cholesterol, I'm going to sacrifice high amounts of sodium and salt. So it was things I knew I had to sacrifice. I stopped eating after a certain time period to give myself a little mini fasting window, which is also good for you as well. So I was like, I'm gonna stop eating after 7 p.m. unless it's like some type of emergency and it's outside of my control. So it was so many things I was willing to sacrifice because at the end of the day, I wasn't only fighting for myself, I was fighting for my long term self. I was
yeah,
fighting for that guy who's going to be in his 80s, and what condition did I want him to be in?
yeah. And we got to be there for our family. We got to be there for our friends. We got to be there for our loved ones. And we can't sell them short by going out, too soon. I also think that like 3 months mentally, if you're able to dedicate yourself to anything for 3 months, I feel like you're good for the long term. If you can get through 3 months of anything and dedicate yourself to it, mentally your brain adjusts and becomes like, okay, this is the new normal. This is what that we're going to sustain going forth. I think that before like a month or 2 weeks, and that's what happens with a lot of people in these like programs is they do stuff for only a week or a month or something like that, and they're able to hold it up, but mentally they break. So I think 3 months is a really good time to train your mind and to discipline your mind, to make it a long-term effect. And do you plan to make any adjustments, after your 90-day transformation? Or are you going to just stick to the really hard stuff of like completely cutting everything out? Because I know that I have made adjustments, like I make adjustments to like go out with friends and, that sort of thing. Like yesterday I had like one of those Bavarian pretzels. Oh my god, it was so delicious. But it's super fatty and it's got lots of salt in it. But like I give myself that allowance every once in a while, just to like sustain. What about you?
Currently, I'm working on a 15-day guide for us advanced people in the game. It's going to be called No More Falling Off, and it's going to give people a little bit of more luxuries throughout their day, but
Okay.
it's still a mathematical game that we're all playing. So
Yeah.
those days when you do have that fatty pretzel, you have to plan and prepare and use some free tools and tracking software to see where you're at. So
Hmm.
if you use those free tools and track your meals throughout the day, you're like,
Yeah.
all right, I know on this particular day I want to have this pretzel. Let
Hmm.
me see a healthy way where I can still have this pretzel to have a normal life, but calculate that within my calories so I can still hit a good deficit and still get my protein intake in at that day. So lately I've been working on that program, tracking what I'm doing myself, adding every meal in, and I hope that this 15-day guide that I am coming out with for the people who actually work out but still want to have a normal life, I hope it can help people. So that's my next goal, and I'm currently on that. And it's been very interesting to try to live that normal life, but to know when to say no. Sometimes you got to be the person to say no. Like the
Yeah.
90 days, I felt like I hid myself from the world. and I stopped hanging out with friends and all the other stuff. But this one, I'm going to hang out with my friends, and I may sit at the bar with you, and I'm going to have my Diet Coke, and I'm going to allow you to have your drinks without judgment. So it's things like that. You got to change your mental approach where you have to be like, I'm my own accountability officer, and I'm going to keep myself responsible, but I'm not going to hide myself from the world. I'm not going to hide from my friends, but I have to be responsible and accountable to me.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. Just having that healthy, life health balance. Kind of like finding the joy in life, but also staying disciplined and being healthy. Um, many men our age in our 40s and stuff, they give up a lot of times on their fitness. And it's a lot harder for them to like get back into the game. What do you think is the hardest challenge for men our age, getting into fitness? Because I feel um, it's kind of a cultural, societal thing where it's like, oh, 20s and 30s, that's your prime, that's your athletic prime. After that, like, it's all downhill from there. And you just got to work and slave, and you can't really pay attention to like eating well and exercising. um, but I actually found it the opposite. Like I feel like I'm in my physical prime in my 40s, and I think if I was given different information, I would have been doing a lot more to take care of my body and my nutrition, so I could even enjoy my prime even more. What do you find are the biggest challenges for men our age? Getting into fitness and nutrition and exercise and staying disciplined.
Well, unfortunately, Jack, the pressures of the world and society say we have to go out there and provide for our families.
Hmm.
And most of the time, it does require you to go to work for long periods of time, and it requires a lot of physical and emotional draining time. But hopefully, throughout my guidelines, I've created fun ways that you can still get your workout in. If you have the kids, go outside and play with your kids. Create different games with your kids where you can still get that exercise in. Today, I'm going to the grocery store with the wife. That's an opportunity to use one thing we all use every day, the farmer carry. That
No,
is
yeah,
something simple,
that's
but
true.
that is something exactly fun that you can still get your exercise in. Me and my wife at the beach. I'm like, I got to carry these chairs to the beach. Guess what that is? Me using the farmer carrying these beach chairs to the beach. And you still get your steps in. So you still got to find fun ways to get your exercise in. And yes, society wants you to go out there and get your money. But if you plan and prepare, you can be fit. And we are not no one special. We are two average men that go out here in the way in the world. We work every day and we still find a way to keep our fitness level very high. So we're no one special. We're not a TikToker or influencer who don't even got to worry about the 9 to 5 world. We go out here, we still do our thing and hold ourselves accountable as men, but we find fun and active ways to stay fit. And one thing
Yeah.
I learned, always be prepared. Always think 10 steps ahead of the game. So if you meal prep or you plan your
Mhm.
day out, you can stay fit.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's like been a big thing for me is not doing takeout anymore. Because you never
Mhm.
know what's in it. You don't know how many calories are in it. But if I go to the grocery store and I buy the same meals every day, and like I'm sure you see like my photos of me eating the same thing, pretty much every day. Um, then I know exactly what my macros are. I know exactly what my calories are, and if I do see a spike in, my weight or something is off, then I know exactly, what changes to make because I've been staying so consistent that I can find any deviation from that consistency and be like, well, it must be that. But, if you're doing takeout every day and you're not staying consistent with it, you can never really know what your normal is and what those deviations are because it's a deviation every day.
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, kids, but this is coming from your favorite uncle. One thing about this fitness game, you're going to be eating the same thing over and over and over and over again. And it does get quite boring and tasking to eat the same thing over and over again, but that is the only way you're going to see success. And
Hmm.
you must realize sometimes you're going to have to sacrifice a few of your wants and concentrate on your needs. And another thing that older guys do in this lifetime, because I hear it all the time at work, is
Yeah.
I'm going to live my life. I'm going to go out happy. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to pay attention to this doctor because I feel like I know what's best for me. And these are also lies that we tell ourselves.
Hmm.
And these lies must stop eventually. You got to focus on your health. This is your only vehicle that you get in this lifetime. Take care of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hear what you're saying about that, like, oh, I'm gonna enjoy this. And it's not,
Hmm.
it's more of a short-term joy than it is a long-term joy of being fit, of, and that's real joy is being living your best life, being fit, not having to go to sleep with trouble breathing because you're out of shape, or like having all these like ailments that you're suffering because you want to eat whatever you want and you don't want to exercise and you just want instantaneous joy. But in the long term, that's going to make you depressed. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. You're not going to like the way you look, and you're going to treat yourself that way. I never judge people, being overweight or anything, especially because I'm a personal trainer, right? And I'm always, showing empathy. But I see it with my clients is that their overall depression and mood changes when they make these transformations. It really helps your self-esteem, and it shows yourself that you're willing to take the time to take care of yourself. And so it's proof that you really do love yourself, because you're able to do that. But when you do the opposite, it's kind of disrespecting yourself. And it shows in how you feel, the depression, because I went through it. Like when I was overweight and didn't really care, I was depressed. So I think there's like a real psychological, emotional level to it also.
100% facts, my friend. I was a 247-pound power lifter.
Hmm.
And at this 100-kilo power lifter I am now, I realized one thing with just losing those 32 pounds, I feel 100% better. Like
Yeah.
at this moment, I feel better. I feel lighter. And my mental process I went through of just struggling every day and telling myself not to quit
Hmm.
unlocked something in my mind where I was even saying in my first book, this is not only just a mental journey, it's a spiritual journey.
Yeah.
You have to rely on something higher than yourself to push you through these 90 days, whichever that may be. You got to grasp onto that higher power, and you got to rely on that higher power too, because it takes a lot of focus to tell yourself no.
Hmm. Yeah, it does.
And it takes a lot of focus to tell yourself no, and no one's going to hold you accountable but you.
Yeah, yeah. And like you're talking about spirituality and that sort of thing, and I was like, my brother, the Pope, is preaching some, good stuff here, good information. And I was like, I need to help, and that's exactly why I have you on this podcast today. Is because I want to do my part in helping you, spread this good information and, tell people about it and, help you out also, because like as brothers, as men, that's what we've got to do is we got to support each other in whatever ways we, know possible, that's how you can tell who's your friend or not, is that they're going to not only applaud you, but they're also going to find a way to help you. While, fake friends, of course, are just going to throw shade on you or whatever. But yeah, like that was the real impetus of getting you on here is like, you know what? I got to help my brother out. I got to get his word out. So how like you've got the ebook, right? And
I got it paperback too, my friend.
you got a
Uh,
paperback? Oh, it
yes, we got
does.
it paperback. Well, this is the second
Nice.
book. Feel free to down. Both books are on Amazon. I would
Okay.
suggest you start if you feel like you want to take upon the challenge. I'm putting a bounty out there
Oh,
on my T-shirt and logo. So if
okay.
anyone buys the book and completes my 90-day program from beginning to end, I will send you a free T-shirt if anywhere in the United States deliver mail. All you
Nice.
got to do is go to Amazon, type in Pope Johnson 90-day reset, and download that paperback version. Buy that paperback version. Complete all 90 days from day one to day 90. Send me your results, and I will send you a free t shirt. I got a bounty out on my own t shirt, and so far, two people have answered that bounty.
Can we see the t-shirt?
I can, if you want to put me on a quick pause, I can go upstairs and grab the t shirt, but
Yeah,
if you
we can
want,
go on a quick pause. Go
all
ahead.
right.
Go ahead.
I know how that be with timing and YouTube. They get mad at you. It is too much quiet. So let me go
No, no,
find
no.
a t-shirt.
I'll start singing or something like that.
Yeah, because you don't want no dead air. I'll be right back.
Be real quick. Yeah, I want to see the shirt. Also, I just want to say to the audience out there that this is my 20th episode, and I'm going to be going on social media probably next week, and I'm going to put out a questionnaire because I want to have another panel discussion where I invite guests to talk about a subject. And so, in honor of my 20th episode, I want to get people out there giving me ideas for the next podcast episode. And also, if there's anyone out there that can help me, since I have done 20 episodes, I want to put my episodes on Apple and Spotify. And me being the Gen Xer that I am, I'm going to need help figuring out how to transfer all this stuff from YouTube to those platforms. My friend Becca was telling me, she was like, you should put it on Amazon, all these other platforms, but I'm just going to do Apple and Spotify. Okay, we're back. We got the shirt.
We got this shirt. So if anybody
Wow,
feel
look
like
at
they're
that.
brave enough, I'm
Yeah,
daring you. I
there's
double
bounty.
dog dare you. I'm calling you out personally. Hope Johnson is calling you out. I got a bounty on the t-shirt. Feel free to collect that bounty. Go to Amazon, download the 90-day reset. Hey, read No One's Coming to Save You as well. Both of them got good information in it. One of them is when you finish the 90 days to help you get back to a balanced life. And eventually, we got something for those big dogs like me and Jack, where I got a fitness test for every man to see if you can actually measure up to what they say you're supposed to be able to do.
Oh
And
man.
that is a 315 squat, a
Okay.
225 bench, and a
Okay.
405 deadlift.
All right. All
So
right.
if you
Love
can,
that. I love
so we
that.
got a bounty out on the t-shirt. Feel free to collect the bounty. I'm daring you to complete my 90-day program. I'm calling you out.
So
So far, a few people actually said they would do it, but a few people said, "Nah, I don't want none of that smoke." So hey, we'll see what happens.
now that you've lost 30 pounds, what's the next step for you? Are
To
you
be
gonna are
honest,
you gonna go back to competing? Are you gonna, continue promoting these fitness challenges? Are you gonna expand? Like, tell me what's next on your
well,
platter.
Jack, to be honest, because I don't know if anyone else experienced this. After I lost the weight, because I
Mm,
wasn't focused on my strength, I was focused on cutting back as much weight as possible
yep.
and really focus on my cholesterol. I really haven't been focusing on how strong I am.
Okay.
And for the world that we live in, there's only one way to really find out if you're still the big dog. And that's eventually I'm going to have to step on this platform at 100 kilos and
Yeah.
see if I can compare to anywhere on that level I was at. And if I can do all the things that as a 100 pound, as a 100 kilo athlete that I was doing as a 110 kilo athlete, then that's amazing.
Yeah.
But we will see because eventually I'm going to have to get back on that platform. just to see if I'm really strong. Because one thing I say about you in my mind, I'm telling you today is this guy's stronger than people know. Because at the weight I'm currently at, you have to use a lot more energy to get that weight up. And right now, even when I'm repping out 225, it used to feel like air. It's feeling like heavy bricks now
It
from
does.
all the weight I've lost. So eventually, I'm going to have to find out.
And one thing that I found with losing weight too, is because like I'm closer to a 90 kg, and I used to be like upper tier 100 kg. Um, is that you're prone to injury too? You know what I'm saying? Like when you lose the mass, like you said, it puts more strain on the muscle, and you're more prone to injury. And you just got to be cognizant of that. I just twisted my ankle recently.
So I
Yeah,
saw it.
yeah, it was over some dumb thing, man. I was just kicking my heavy bag, and I lost balance on my back foot, and I fell on my ankle, rolled it, and yeah, it was dumb. But I'm going to compete in November in Las Vegas. Hopefully, I'm still talking to about Coach Justin. You met Justin, but I think like you should consider it. It's in Las Vegas. It's going to be in November. It'll give you plenty of time to prep. But think about it. Me and you could be on the platform together.
What league are you in, Jack?
It is Powerlifting United.
I don't know because I think USPA are is USPA with them or not because I don't know. Send me a link to whichever you
Yeah, yeah, I
register
will.
for
I will for sure. I will
and
for
I'll
sure.
figure it out because eventually I am going to step on a platform and I don't know
Yeah.
where, I don't know when because I was supposed to go to Phoenix for the bench press thing and
Hmm.
I lost so much weight I kicked myself out of my own category pretty much. So I knew they wasn't going to let me compete. So
Yeah.
it's no point in showing up somewhere where I couldn't compete at. So I do miss the world of powerlifting, but at this point, one self doubt I do have in my own mind is how strong are you really? Was
Yeah.
it really you or was it your mass pushing this amount of weight? And right now, some days I'm like, dang, maybe it was the mass. And then it make you think maybe I should get back to that size so I can go back to lifting big boy weights. But then you think about, oh no, if I go back that direction, it's going to lead back to these health issues I were having. So eventually, I'm going to get back on the platform. But right now, I've been having just fun with random workouts. Like one day I was doing pull-ups, one day I'm doing goblet squats, one day I'm just having a good time switching up my workouts. Where powerlifting get boring.
It does.
So I'm
Powerlifting.
just having a good time of switching up my workouts,
Hmm.
doing whatever I want to do off a program and don't have to answer to no one. But
Yeah.
eventually, yeah, I gotta find out whether or not I'm still him. And hey, if it's November, it's November. But
Yeah, that'll
eventually,
be great. That'll
I
be,
will be stepping back on the platform to
and we'll be
find out.
together. It'll be fun.
I'll
Uh,
make you a deal, Jack. If you do it,
yeah,
because Vegas is far from me and a little tasking money wise, but I think we can swing it. If you sign up and send me the link, we can compete together. I'll do 100 kilo, you do your kilos, and we'll do it.
I love it. I love it. And then we'll
So,
go out afterwards.
but of course, my friend, but of course, but of course,
Yep.
that's what we always that's what we did last time I was in the Las Vegas area. So hey, it'd
Yep.
be the same way. So yeah, I would do it most likely, but eventually I do got to find out am I still a big dog? And the only time I do judge the fitness space is when some knucklehead says something crazy about fitness, like bench press, and then half their butts off the mat, or they
Mhm.
say something about squats and they don't squat ass to grass. Then it does annoy me.
Yeah.
So, or some knucklehead takes my favorite coach Steve Shaw voice and say something about his voiceover for 315 and half their butts off the bench. It does annoy me, and I will judge you. I will
Yeah.
judge you. But one thing about fitness, I heard you say is about people being overweight. I don't care how much you weigh. I don't care what you look like. I only care what you do in the gym. One thing I will require people to do is be a better version of themselves than when they started.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what
That's
it's
it.
all about. It's you against you, you know. And if you're not making any improvement, then you know what are you doing? You know.
And as you can see, I made the ultimate improvement with my own body because I could have stayed at 242. I could have kept lying to myself, but eventually you do have to give your own self a wake up call, and that's one thing frustrating about the obese acceptance community is
Mm,
they're lying to themselves. And I was even bad shape, and just from my blood work alone, I was heading down a wrong path. So I give these people the opportunity just to
yeah,
wake
and
up, and
but
smell that coffee, baby, because
I
it,
see
it's
it. I see obesity a lot like alcoholism. You know what I'm saying?
ah.
Like we wouldn't provoke. Like you can feel empathy towards people who face issues with alcoholism, but we're not going to celebrate their alcoholism. You know what I'm saying? Because it's killing them, and it's not. It's very harmful to them. And I show the same empathy towards people who are facing obesity. It's a disease, and they shouldn't be shamed, they shouldn't be mocked, but at the same time they shouldn't be celebrated or be like, oh, you're just fine. It's like, no, it's like, here, let me help you. Like these are some of the things that I use to help myself. Get those steps in, walk. All you have to do is like park a little bit further away from where you're going and get some extra steps in. So I think it goes both ways. You can't be harsh and treat people with judgment that are obese and mock them. But at the same time, like you said, you can't celebrate their obesity and say that this is normal, because it kills them. The morbidity rate is a lot higher than people that are healthy. And you were saying you're worried about your strength gains and stuff. But what I found uh, is having that challenge. Like I could lift a lot more weight when I was heavier, and I could do it for a lot more reps. But I'm almost back at that point where I was with the weight just through training and keeping my weight lower. So it's a challenge. You will eventually get back to your full strength standards and you will be at the same weight. It just takes time, because, mass does equal strength, but you can turn, that mass into muscle and drop a lot of weight and still maintain strength. So you always have strength. Strength is within. You just gotta slowly develop it back to where it's at, and it will get back to where it's at, and you'll stay at the same weight you're at if you stay disciplined. Which if you made it 90 days, there's no reason you shouldn't make it for the rest of your life, right?
Well, one thing, Jack, I'm going to hit 2 points that I heard you say about being kindness. I think the best approach is an old song saying, "What if God was one of us?" So
Yeah,
that's the best way to approach life is just everyone just pretend like they're God, and how would you want to treat him? Whichever God you believe in. And another point you hit on was, I guess, obesity, especially in my community. It
yeah,
is the number one killer of my community. So I think that maybe we should focus a little bit on that. But that's your personal journey. Me personally, I want to do everything possible to be here as long as I can for me and my family.
mm,
And as far as strength is concerned, it's only one way to find out, brother. And we both have a handshake agreement. So send me the link. I will see you in November on the platform. The Pope
yes.
will be back for my retirement meet. I'm going out with my brother. So there's only one way to find out is to step back on the platform at 100 kilos, where I'll probably be 113 or something like, well, I'll probably be 213 by that time. I'm going
Okay,
to be under that 100 kilo mark, but I
nice.
still want to step on that platform and see whether or not I'm still strong. And there's only
Yeah,
one way to do it, and that's to put yourself on the platform
yeah.
and hear the judge just
You'll do
say,
great. And I keep hearing
"Platform ready."
this. I keep hearing this retirement word come out of your mouth.
Oh man,
When it comes
Jack,
to
I'm
powerlifting,
47 years old, brother. How
no,
much time we
no.
gonna
And
put?
you know
How much
what?
time we
Like,
gonna do this, man?
like you're sounding like Ric Flair here, retiring. Every once you got till you're at least 70. to keep competing. So don't talk about retirement. Just say I'll take a break because I think there's still a fight in you. So yeah, yeah. Don't sell yourself short with the R word.
Yeah, I'm 47 years old, brother. So we, eventually, you got to sit it down. But
uh,
man, I'm looking forward to seeing you on the platform, man. And God is good. And I
yeah.
know, I mean, people have their different aspects of religion, but
Hmm.
I believe in one thing, and that's giving yourself to the higher power. You can do anything through that strength, and
I believe
no
that
one can
100%.
do it alone.
Yeah, I believe it's so important to have that higher power in your life, whatever it is, because it really does, push you. It really does, give you that impetus to, persevere when things are really bad, especially in life, because life throws you, a lot of speed bumps, and sometimes it's really hard with the why of all that's happening. But when you trust and have faith that it's all going to come together for you, and that there is something looking out for you that's not out to get you, I think that just having that mindset alone will let you succeed in anything you do, because nothing's going to stop you.
Good point, bro. Man, and God has blessed you with a hell of a voice, brother. Like I said, I've been watching your platform, and you're having some brave conversations. And I commend you on your braveness because most of the time, most men who look like you would not be having those conversations because
Yeah.
they'd be too afraid of being an outcast and the judgment. But you have took upon the task that your higher power has given you, and that's one thing I do commend you on because you are having some brave conversations, bro. And they may not be popular, but they are
Mhm.
definitely necessary.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the what I want to do with this platform is I keep telling guests, it's like I'm not here in the manosphere to preach, to tell people how to live. I'm here to experience it with them. I'm asking the same questions they're asking, and I'm going through the journey with you as a man. And I want to help other people. I want to bring other voices, and I want to hear like what everyone's going through. I think that's like the problem with society today is that we put ourselves in these camps and we label each other, evil or bad or whatever. And instead of just talking to people, having a conversation with people that are different from you. And it is challenging because it challenges a lot of things about your own identity, but you learn a lot, and I say I come from a point of ignorance with curiosity, not ignorance out of being overly confident or ignorance of not listening. And I think there's two things. One, with ignorance and curiosity, there's growth, right? Like if you're curious and you're ignorant about something, acknowledging that you're ignorant about something and being curious will lead to growth. But just staying firm in your ignorance, isolating yourself from other ideas and topics, there's no growth there. And in community and society, and it's so divided right now. The last thing we need are these little islands that we have put ourselves in, these little camps. And that's what I hope to do with this podcast is, to show other people different perspectives and show that they can work together. I'm saying that in the end, we're all people and we should love each other no matter what, except if you're harming, someone or harming yourself, then that's an issue. But, I think in general, most people, they just want to be understood. They just want to be heard and represented. And yeah, that's my main goal of this platform, is to do this. And, like I said, you really inspired me in this journey by, through the conversations we've had on your podcast. I can't wait to be back on it. But it really inspired me with this mission because I've been lost as a man, and I'm like, you know what? let's take other people on this journey to find what it means to be a man. And I've made some great friends along the way, you included. And yeah, it this being the 20th episode, looking back, it's been such an amazing experience. And I've had such incredible people on the give me such incredible perspective. And so I've learned and I've grown a lot. And I think more people need to have that kind of curiosity and go into topics or things that they're not sure about that have nothing to do with them, and go into those spaces and find out more about those people. And for me, it's been like a really beautiful experience.
One thing I picked up on it, which is very true, people do like to stay on their little mini little islands and be
Hmm.
like, my island's the best island, and I'm right about every opinion. But you never ask yourself, what if? What if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
What if this person is right? Maybe I just want to hear their point of view without judgment and use active listening instead of I'm listening, but I'm listening to respond.
Yeah.
That's one thing I notice a
Brutal.
lot of people do in all communities. Like someone out there maybe see these books as some type of diss to the obese community, and that's not true. I
Hmm.
just wrote down my own personal journeys.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest about what I experienced. And I was on a high level, two-time national champion. I could have stayed right there and kept on knowing the facts. But
Uh-huh.
sometimes you have to look at your own truth.
Yeah.
And maybe even at 247 pounds, I was still active every day, but something in me was a ticking time bomb.
Hmm.
And I had to change something. And I
Yeah.
had to activate something to save me. And I hope it will save someone else. And
Hmm.
if it does, God has truly blessed me with another journey. Because I got a few of my coworkers right, and I see them every day, and it gives me joy to see the smile on their face. So if you're out there and you pick up one of my books and I do change your life, I applaud you. And I apologize in advance because you're going to need a lot of new clothes.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
I gotta throw away a bunch of t-shirts that I used to love to wear with all my cool little sayings on it. I this is brand new. This I'm swimming in this one, so
I'm
who
telling you,
knows?
brother, like this is what I did when I lost the weight. Go to Express and get yourself some suits. They got like good price suits and they got well fitting like clothes. I couldn't wear it when I was bigger, but when I like slimmed down, I was like, oh my, I look good in these suits and stuff. So Express, I recommend that. Now that you've toned down. Um, but we were talking about the black community and all that, and I want to make the point that you're the fourth black guest that I've had in a row, and since you're my dear friend, I gotta ask this question. I hope you don't take offense to this, but am I invited to the cookout?
Depends, Jack. If you try to bring any type of raisins, then we might have to put you to the like on the cookout, but you like at the front of the cookout. But to be honest, bro, the way I see my friendships are all very strange and unique. Cause I know you're a white male, but to be honest, do I see you as a white male? No, I just see you as my brother. You
Hell
know
yeah.
what I mean? I don't
Oh,
see, you know, because the way I guess we communicate very honest and very frank.
mm,
And even with your choices of guests, I can see the intentions are there to step outside of the normal white male space
mm.
of having conversations. And that's why I say I commend you for your bravery
Oh,
because most white men would not be having the conversations that you are having. So if that's the case, you're 100% invited to everybody cookout.
yeah.
Because you having some conversations, brother, that I only thought I was brave enough to have with the gay community, the trans community. I've interviewed trans women on my podcast
Mm,
without fear. But
mm.
but as a white man, those are some conversations that most people would not be brave enough to have. And hey, brother, God has blessed you with a voice. You keep on doing
Oh,
what you're doing, and you
I appreciate
100%
it.
invited to my own personal cookout.
Hell
But
yeah.
you keep those razors at home.
Okay, no raise. No, I'm not going to put any raisins in that. I know about that. And the hot sauce is okay. I can handle it. Not too much, but I can handle it.
Yeah, right, man, bro. I know, like, I see my friendships as very unique. And yes, I know you're a white man. I see you. But at the end of the day, do you act like the standard white male persona that I see in the internet sphere? No. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you're 100% invited to the cookout. And you're a good man,
Oh, you're
regardless.
a good man,
Yeah.
Norris, and you're my good friend, and I love you. And I'm really looking forward to this powerlifting meet in November. So we're gonna convene on that, and we're
It
gonna
depends
talk
on
more
when,
about
because
that.
I got to go on a cruise with the wife in October.
Okay.
So it depends on A, when I get off that boat, and B, whenever if it's close to that time, then you may not see me. But
Okay.
eventually, regardless, we're going to be on the same platform before
Yes.
I hang up the boots. And I'm going to
I
be
love that.
within the 100 kilo category because this is how I'm staying for the rest of my life.
And you know what? I think
One,
even
I
strong.
feel better this way.
I think you're gonna be even stronger. To tell you
Well,
the truth, I really do.
there's only one way to find out, Jack. In our world, it don't count unless you go on the platform.
Exactly.
So anybody else's world, you can say whatever you want to say, but in the powerlifting community, you got to have three judges look at you, and two of them got to come to agreement at whether or not you're going to get those white lights or not. And if I can get that just one last time, I will truly be impressed and know that no matter what the situations I've been through, that I was able to overcome them and get back on the platform. And hey, once again, download on Amazon. No
Yeah,
one's
yeah.
coming to save you.
Yeah, 90-day challenge. You can get it on ebook, regular book. You can get that T-shirt if you meet the challenge. You have to go all 90 days. Don't cut him short. The Pope knows. Yeah, and go on this fitness journey with my dear friend Norris. I'll just say one more thing. I always say what I appreciate about you. I already told you everything I've appreciated about you, but brother, I appreciate everything you're doing with this weight loss challenge. You're writing a book, man. You always inspire me. I'm always kind of following your trail, like um, from podcasting and so forth. So you know what, I might have to write a book someday just because of you.
Hey, man.
Never thought I would say that, but I love you and I appreciate you, brother, and stay blessed. And let's get on the platform in November.
We will try to do it. And hey, if you think about writing a book, that's remember every day to take little mini notes
Okay.
about your personal thoughts. Put those notes into your phone and
Hmm.
then just upload them slowly and surely, and you will have that book. And that's how I'll just take in like my own personal notes and just journaling every day and my
Yeah.
own personal thoughts and emotions. And I even said in my first book, The 90 Day Guide, journal to yourself about the process, and midway through the process write a letter to yourself, to that person at day 90, and all the things you've been through, and tell yourself in that letter that I love you, because
I
that's
love.
something we don't do in society enough, is tell your own self I love you. We
Yeah.
give our love to everyone else, but when's the last time you looked yourself in the mirror and said I love you
And
and I
love
care
starts
for
with
you?
yourself. Love starts
Yes,
with yourself. It
yes.
really,
So
you got to love yourself before you truly love others.
yeah,
Uh,
so that's one thing I did put in the book, and also write little sticky notes to yourself as you go through the process to encourage yourself. Because I know I'm not asking you to do this. Is not easy. This
mhm.
is a journey, and it's going to be a fight, and you must fight every day to save yourself. And I'm just an old dude who powerlifts. But at the end of the day, if I can lose 32 pounds, you can probably do better. Salute.
So, Lou. And with that, we'll wrap it up. That's it for today's episode of The Other Side of Tough. I'm Jack Starr, reminding you that real strength is found on the other side. Catch you next time. Thank you, my brother Norris. And I will definitely have you on again, probably for the 50th or 100th episode.
Hey, bro, I'll be here. And whenever you want to invite the married people on to your podcast to talk about marriage,
Yeah,
I
let's
might
do
even get the
that.
wife to pop up and we can really have a conversation about how marriage couples found love and stop dating and stop playing games and what keeps them together for long term. Because I've been married for like 13 years almost. So, hey,
Well,
there's a
yeah,
wealth of knowledge here, brother. So, whenever you're
let's
ready to
do
have that
it.
type of conversation, let me
Yeah,
know.
actually, yeah. So I'm going to plan that. I'm gonna plan that with some married folk.
Yes, brother. Yes, you got to get the OG Murray game now. You
Yeah,
got to
I
get like a
know.
couple just getting in there, a mid-range couple, and that couple been married like 40, 50, 60
Yeah,
years.
because
So we
those
can
have the
all
real
talk
knowledge.
about it.
Those have the real knowledge. All right, my brother. You have a great weekend. Stay blessed. And yeah, 90-day challenge. Take it up, people. All right?
If you're brave enough.
If you're ready. All right,
Salute.
brother. Have a good one.
Salute.